Well, hi there. It's Noelle Costar here from noellness.com, and I'm bringing you a full moon reading. Yes, we have a giant supermoon coming up here on Wednesday, and the full moon is going to be in Pisces, and it's actually the third supermoon in a series of 4. And so the moon is going to feel like it's so close because it is. And, we also have a lot of other energy going on. Last Wednesday, Mercury went retrograde. And coming up here for Labor Day weekend on September the 3rd, Venus is going to go direct. So what this means for us is that there's a lot of emotion. There is so much emotion. There is so much tension that's been building. It feels exhausting even. A lot of you have probably felt like, wow, I am really tapped out and just feel like I need naps a lot. And that's okay. Just take them, okay? Also, your dream life. Pay attention to your dreams because there's so much coming up to be examined, to be felt through, looked at, and not brushed under the table. Do you know what I mean? To really dive in and come up with some new creative ideas and ways to move forward in your life. Okay, so I thought what we would do for the full moon reading is I asked, what do you most need to look at and release? And I also did a second card out of another deck asking, what message do you most need to have right now to be encouraged on your way, on your path of whatever the expression of you is meant to be here next. Okay, so if you haven't already picked a card, go ahead and pick a card, 1, 2, or 3. And if you haven't ever subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and do that too, because I'd love to see you here more often. Okay, so for all of you that pick number 1, we're going to start off with your card reading first. Okay, so I'm just going to show the deck I did the reading out of this time is, I don't even know what this deck is called. It is a Greek deck, and it was my first ever deck that I bought. So I got my first deck of cards when I was 19, and I don't read out of this deck very often anymore, but I was feeling very called, and the cards are black on the outside. So, I don't know, something about this full moon and everything that it's going to illuminate to really bring us out of the darkness and into more light. Okay, so if you pick number 1, let's talk first about what it is that you are having to come up for release. Okay, so we got here the 8 of Swords, the 8 of Swords. Showing you here, there's a person standing behind a bunch of swords, giant angel on one side, and what appears to be toiling type of women on the other side. So really, the biggest thing that you have to look at and let go is how much you trap yourself. How much you're letting your own thoughts about whatever it is trap you and keep you stuck in old ways. These are things that are happening in your mind, and so there's 2 parts of this. There's parts that are as worry and fear related, and it feels very much to me like, you have a lot of this going on, and this keeps you living a small life. And you also have this part of you that is kind of telling you off or telling you that you should be better. There's a lot of judgment with it. And so these are some of the things that are coming up for you to look at. Where are you behaving in your life this way? What is it that you really want to do next? And how are these things keeping you stuck? And if you're unsure about how to get out of that cycle, you have to be in the awareness. That's step one. Okay? You cannot get out of a cycle in the mind if you are not in awareness of it. And so that's step one, is you have to look at where you're doing this in your life. Take 10, 15 minutes, sit down, kind of sift through. What are my chronic thoughts? Because if you're feeling kind of scared about things, or you're feeling worried about things, or you're feeling shame or guilt because you're having judgment on yourself, you can feel this in your body. Okay, you can feel it into your body. And when you sense it there, that's the time. That's the moment of transformation. Okay, that's the time for you to look at it then. Say, I'm recognizing that there's thoughts right now that I'm having that are creating a sensation in my physical body. And so I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to speak some different things about this situation that are more true than the lies that are going on in my head. Okay, so this is really important, because as you do this work right now, you're going to have such a release. You're going to feel so much freedom and joy. And so don't take this for granted that, okay, I need to think of some stuff different. Really look at where you're holding yourself back. Okay, now I did a second reading out of the Indigo Angel Oracle deck, because right now, so many indigos are having heightened need to feel like they need to do more or become more or grow and change in some way. They're shifting in what your contribution is, and you're being called, right? So I did this deck, and the card I was asking is, or the question I was asking is that, what message do you most need to hear right now to move forward in your life? What can encourage you? Okay. So we got divine timing. Okay. This girl, she's got an hourglass in her hand. Sometimes it can feel like we want something to work out, and that's potentially part of this. We can want something to be a certain way, yet we do not allow ourselves to line our thoughts up with that. We go back and forth in our thoughts. And so we send out misconstrued messages into the universe about how God, source energy, can co-create with us. And so this message right now for you is a lot about, not to get caught up in feeling like you missed it. You're not doing enough by when. You're, feeling like, I should have done more by now in my life. They want you to know it's all good. That there is a plan for you. And it starts with you releasing yourself from the prison of your mind and allowing yourself to start to open up and imagine how you want life to be. Okay? And as you do that, and even right now, they make me feel like through this period of time, over the next couple of weeks, doing some art would really be good for you. Such a release. Put on some music and do some art, okay? All right, I love you, and I want you to understand it's all going to be okay. I know you want to know exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to happen and everything like that. But what's most important for you to do is just to focus and get your mind right. Focus on your mind and releasing some of the constrictions that you have on you. Okay? All right, so if you picked number 2, I am going to ask the same thing. I already picked the cards. I never look at them because I like for it to be a surprise and a real channeled message when I'm recording this. So for you, what is most coming up and needs to be released? And so let's see what we got here. Ooh, the Ace of Pentacles. Now, what does this mean? Well, this means that potentially you have a couple of things going on in your life that, you know, have your mind going in several different directions, okay? And really, this card is asking you to look at what do you most find important that you should put your time and resources into. Because there is a new opportunity for you coming in, but it feels like you have a couple of things, and so you're a little all over the place with, you know, I don't know what to do. And so it's asking for you to look at that. It's asking for you to feel into each opportunity, each way that you could move forward with your money right now. You know, I'm looking down at the card. I'll hold it back up for you to see. It's so interesting that here we have, it looks like a merman, and he's holding a giant pentacle over his head. And, you know, for me, I do a lot of work with healing. I do a lot of healing work with crystals and setting up grids and working with the energy that way. And pentacles a lot of times symbolize where we're doing more esoteric work, where we are working with our spiritual nature and moving forward there. And so this might be an opportunity for you to look at where are you splitting your energy, and could you spend your resources and move forward in something that's more in alignment with your spiritual development at the same time? Because they make me feel like with you, it shouldn't be so divided. And so it kind of feels like this is a really good time for you to give up some of the other ideas that you have going and just choose one and get very focused on it. And lean in to where you can grow and become more wise in your soul because of that choice. Okay? Let's see what encouragement we have for you here along the way. And it's interesting because here you have the Patience card. Now, this is something I know a little bit about. I named my daughter Patience, and boy, oh boy, have we had a million lessons with that along the way since she got here. You know, patience is one of those things where it really tries you in so many ways, because you have to work with it mentally and emotionally, and know in your faith heart that what you're truly desiring is going to come to pass. So it is about waiting with a good attitude, because when we wait and we're moaning and we're looking at why it has not, and we're asking a lot of disempowering questions, we can throw a right monkey wrench into the outcome that was originally on its way to us. And so while you are waiting, while you are in these next couple of weeks where, you'd like to see whatever this is come to pass, whether this is a new job or something like this, where it feels like you're waiting for something to come in. They're saying, just don't pay attention to that right now. Have a good attitude. Don't let your nervous energy get involved, okay? And maybe do something physical like yoga, or specifically yoga feels like would be good for you to really just do over the next couple of weeks. This will help your mind settle while you're waiting, and just anticipate things going well, and keep bringing your mind back to that. Keep bringing your mind back to that. But it is important for you to make sure that you're focusing your energy, that you're trimming away some of the fat, some of all these strings of, I could do this and I could do that and I could go here, and maybe I don't need to make a choice at all. I just hope something good happens. They're saying, no, make some choices, okay? Get your focus defined, okay? All right, and now for number 3. If you picked number 3, this is time for your reading. Okay, so what do you most need to look at and release for this full moon? Ooh, we have here the Hierophant. Okay, now in this in particular deck, we have half man, half horse, with a scroll in his hand and a crown on his head, in a tunnel that looks like there's light on the other side. Light shining down. Okay, so what do you need to look at and release potentially is, how often are you going to other people for guidance? Okay, are you somebody that is consistently showing up and talking about your problems? Or maybe it doesn't even have to be problems as much as like, maybe you want to buy a car and you're going to talk to 8,000 people about it before you do. Okay, they're making me feel very much like it's a time for you to look at some of this. Do you unnecessarily seek the wisdom of other people at times instead of acknowledging your own connection to where you're meant to be headed? And so this is something for you to look at. This is something for you to pay attention to over this time. I also just want to say that, this sometimes is a shift in perception of spirituality. Okay, so where maybe you might have believed in an organized religion, or you've been raised in an organized religion, this might be a time in your life where you're starting to go, I don't know if that connects with me anymore. And so I don't know if I'm going to continue to participate in some of these things. So this card is definitely asking you to look at that part of your life as well. And I'm not saying it has to be organized religion. You might be an atheist and all of a sudden decide that that's not for you. And maybe you're being guided to be more around a religion or in a church or some sort of community environment of practicing spirituality. So this to me is whatever your beliefs are right now, it's asking for you to kind of look at those and for you to see, do things that you're believing for in this way make sense for your life anymore? And instead of seeking outside of yourself, they're really asking for you to come to your center and hone in on who are you? Who do you want to be? What makes you feel comfortable? And what it's like as you move towards what you're in alignment with, you can feel it. The energy comes in and you feel charged up, right? As you move further away from the things that you're not in alignment with, you feel drained emotionally, mentally, physically. And so they're making me feel like you have the power to feel this inside of you and feel where you're most called to be running towards right now. Okay? Now, let's see what encouraging message to send you on your way here. Send love. You know, this is interesting that I'm talking about potentially leaving behind some belief systems that maybe don't align with you any longer. And so you can send love to those. You can send love to those and be thankful for what it did in your life as it was doing it. You know, or people in your life. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes people get, they're bringing this up, so I want to just share, like, you know, we can have friends along the way. And sometimes it'll feel like, oh, well, this person left your life and now this person's really your friend. And maybe you might look back at that situation like they were just pretending, or now that I know who their true colors are, just things like this. No. Send love to that person. Send love to that ex-spouse. Send love to these people. Send love to your past, to you, who you were. Acknowledge that that was real. Okay? And that will help you let go of the hurt and the resentment in the now. So, because that stuff doesn't affect the other person, it affects you. And so they want you to know that anytime you want, you can send love to your children, to your mom, anytime. You can just take a minute and picture them and just say, I just want to send this person love and light. May they be uplifted in all of their ways today. Thank you so much for the value that this person added to me in this XYZ way, right? And in doing that, you move yourself further along and you move the whole world further along. And so I think that this is such a beautiful message. It feels like you are really going through a time of spiritual transition. They're making me feel like so much is opening up for you, new insights and new ways of interacting with the world. So this has been super fun, and I love you so much, and let's connect again real soon.